welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, ginte-ilon. This podcast celebrates stories of resilience, leadership, and making a difference. And of course, we bring you inspiring conversations with change makers who are shaping lives and communities for the better. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to follow and subscribe to Life Expressions so you never miss an episode. If you find value in our conversations, please share them with friends, colleagues, or anyone who could use a little spark of inspiration. Today's episode is one I'm truly excited about. My guest is Alison Silgardo, CEO of the Senior Services Society of BC. Alison's journey is as inspiring as the work she leads, advocating for seniors, tackling homelessness, and creating innovative programs to ensure our elders are supported, respected, and valued. We'll talk about her personal path from purpose to impact, the challenges she has faced, and the rewards of serving one of the most vulnerable yet treasured segments of our community. So let's dive in. Welcome to Life Expressions, Alison.
Thank you, Sherry. I am excited to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
Yes, I am as excited as you. Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a bit about your personal journey, where you started, and what led you to the path of advocacy and leadership?
Absolutely. It seems like years now. So I began my career in the corporate world, in merchant banking and real estate. And I was deeply immersed in that world for many, many years, immersed in strategic planning, organizational leadership. But over time, I felt a pull towards work that had a more tangible human impact, something that really helped shift me eventually into the nonprofit sector. And the journey to senior services came truly from witnessing firsthand how an aging population can be marginalized, particularly those who don't have a strong family or financial support. And I realized that this was where I could apply both my head and my heart in service of something greater. And that's kind of what got me here and kept me here.
Wow. And it has been how many years now?
This July made 6 years, but who's counting?
Yes. Was there a defining moment or experience that made you realize this was your life's purpose with senior services?
Yes, when I initially came on board, it was for a 2-month temporary assignment while my predecessor was away. And there was a moment early in my time with senior services when I met a senior who had been homeless for about a year. And through our transitional housing program, she was finally able to feel safe again. And the tears in her eyes when she said to me, "I feel human again." I think that was it. I knew that was my purpose. It wasn't just leadership. It was actually restoring dignity to those who had been forgotten.
Wow. Restoring dignity for those who have been forgotten. That's huge work and a big impact, of course. How have your values or life experiences shaped how you approach serving others, especially vulnerable seniors?
I think my values are probably foundational. I don't think there's much you can do or I do that can stray too far away because you feel the conflict. If it doesn't resonate for you and you have to do it anyway, there's a bit of a tension. Not always a bad thing, but values truly are the anchor from which I'm able to do what I do and I hope to lead today.
Yeah, and what are those values?
Respect, relationship, and trust. Seemingly simple every day, but to me, there isn't anything that is possible without trust and relationship. If you're not in relationship with whatever that is or whoever that is, whether it's a family, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a colleague or a client, everything else falls apart.
Yeah. And it is important to really value the relationship we have with the people that we interact with. And I value my relationship with you. I am a witness of how you deal with others, regardless of their status in life. You're now leading one of the most important organizations for seniors in our region. What was the transition like from discovering your purpose to taking on the responsibility of impact at scale?
Wow. To me, it was really humbling. I see myself just as one person. And yes, my role may be that of a CEO, but it is just one person contributing towards a purpose that is more powerful than me and that needs everybody to be part of, including the seniors that we work with. So, but to me, my role and how it has shifted is being able to translate that impact. You need systems, you need strategy, you need patience. And as a leader, I had to grow into somebody who could scale empathy. Having empathy one-on-one is essential, but to be able to scale it and to be able to align a vision for an organization with day-to-day operations, to be able to simultaneously empower a team and work alongside partners across sectors to actually shift the outcomes for seniors at risk. It truly is a recalibration every day between the heart and what you want and what is possible in execution. So it's not that you don't plan, you do plan, but you're recalibrating every day based on what's incoming.
Yeah, and that's how you balance your vision from your day-to-day realities, especially with the demands and funding challenges. How do you address the funding challenges?
I do keep a dual lens constantly. The long-term vision is my North Star, but the day-to-day is where I find trust and where impact is felt. So I have been able to surround myself, and I'm truly grateful for strong leaders as colleagues, as frontline staff, as my team. And it's their insights and their interactions that ground me every day. So we stay agile, we try to adapt easily, and never really losing sight of the human in all of our policies and programs. And I think that's what I find is important. As they say, you lead both from the balcony and the floor when
Yes,
you're doing system work, because you have to be in it, but you have to be able to take a step back and look at it from a distance.
I love that. But what have been some of the most fulfilling moments in your leadership at Senior Services?
Oh my, there are so many. The most fulfilling and gratifying is when seniors call just to say thank you.
Yeah.
Not just for the housing, which is something that they were looking for, not for the services if they're already housed, but just for being heard or seen. When a partner that we work with says, Senior Services helped us do more than we could do alone, that is very affirming. And I think that's been our driving force, not to do things that other people can do, but to be partners with individuals and agencies so that together we can work to our strengths and do better. Or when our staff say they feel empowered to lead in the work they do, that is the culture of impact. And that is what is really fulfilling.
Yes. Especially when you feel like you're impacting the life of one senior at a time, right? Especially when they come back to you and let you know that you have made them feel important and valued.
If you walk through our office, every staff's little pin board, even in my office, in the kitchen area, is filled with cards just saying thank you for the services. It's very affirming when you see that, right?
Yes.
That honest gratitude from people of different walks, different stripes for the impact that they've experienced. So, yeah, it is true.
Yeah. Every leader faces obstacles, but for you, what were those toughest challenges that you've had to overcome, either personally or professionally on this journey?
Oh boy. Leading an organization that supports seniors who are precariously housed or homeless through a housing crisis, through a pandemic, and in the case of seniors who are homeless, through chronic underfunding, while advocating for this overlooked population has tested every part of me. It is an emotional weight, no question. Hearing so many stories from the staff, from frontline workers. But I have learned through my time, both at Senior Services and in my journey as a leader, about resilience. And it's not just pushing through, it's building support systems, people and colleagues that you can lean on and stay grounded, and also not being afraid because you're a leader in a particular organization or in an industry, not being afraid to say, I need help.
Yeah.
So reaching out and leaning on the supports in community and we've been very, very grateful. I've been very grateful to be able to reach out, and people have responded and supported us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without that support. So
Yes.
being humble enough to say, you know what, we're doing this, but we need help.
Do you have a mentor or someone that you always count on to, not just support you, but make you become better as a person, as a leader in your work as senior services?
Absolutely. I have many. I don't think I would be who I am today without several people. My North Star in many ways has been my dad, a strong, strong, resilient personality, and learned. And while he is no more, a lot of the things he taught me are things that stay with me and that remind me. He went blind early in his career, and it was due to industrial negligence. And while he adapted to it almost seamlessly, it seemed, and I asked him, I said, aren't you angry? Aren't you mad? And he said, no, he says, you get what you need in life, not what you want. And he said, always look for the gift in it. So no matter what comes at me, I always look for what is possible. So that has been he's been one of my biggest guides. I've been very fortunate to work with amazing leaders in my career who've been willing to share and continue to share what works, what doesn't work, and to call me out if I don't do things that I should be doing or hold a mirror up to me. So, yes, many, many people in my journey.
Yeah, that's beautiful and very helpful, I must say. Alison, let's go to advocacy and innovation and, of course, future vision. The needs of seniors are evolving rapidly. What are the biggest gaps you see today?
Well, we see a rise in senior homelessness. The point in time count has just come out in May this year. And while the last point in time count suggested the numbers had gone up 5 times in 10 years,
Oh,
the
wow.
percentage has now gone up further. We're just waiting for the final numbers. So that number for seniors and homelessness is just continuing to grow up. The biggest gaps at a very high level is just affordable housing, integrated healthcare, because seniors who are in this precarious position often integrate with health, and either exit from health or attachment to health is a big barrier and one of the reasons for them becoming homeless. And there's a whole explanation on that. And social
Yeah,
connection, the lack of connection. So those are kind of the three big pieces for them.
yeah,
On the other hand, we have been tackling this and doing a really, really amazing job as a team through our SHINE program, the Seniors Housing Information and Navigation Ease. We started with just navigation, and that program has expanded to be comprehensive. And I think that work on advocating for systemic change with demonstrated outcomes, but more importantly, working to bridge not just the service gaps, but what I believe is societal blind spots. I think people who have never interacted or haven't, quite often I find people, when we have a conversation with them about how seniors become homeless, they're surprised. And I truly believe that that is a societal blind spot.
yeah. It's amazing how Senior Services Society works hard to address these gaps. Are there any innovative approaches that you're tackling or programs that you're very excited about right now?
Well, the SHINE program, for one, is incredible. The way it has been developed with 4 components that are comprehensive. So, identifying what the problem is as a part of navigation and information and referral is great. But if you can't actually address the problem you identified, now the people who've identified the problem have just been added to the list of people that are impacted by that trauma of the senior. Because the senior knows they have a problem, and the person who's received the information and can do nothing about it also absorbs that part of that trauma.
Yeah.
So we've been able to develop a comprehensive program which has all 4 components: the information, the navigation, temporary housing, and top-up funding to actually bridge those gaps. And the outcomes of that have been pretty profound. And what do I mean by that? For Senior Services Society, June made 16 consecutive months that we've been blessed to have more affordable housing units offered to us than low-income seniors who need affordable housing in this market. That
That's
alone
wonderful.
is a huge impact when people wait 2 to 10 years to get on a list. The other piece that has been really profound is that every senior that we've placed through our program into temporary housing and permanent housing has stayed permanently housed. Like that is another very strong impact. That is an outcome that you don't often see when you're talking about populations of people being put from, helped to move from homelessness into housing. So it's all the intentionality and the work that our team does to take the time to understand what was the root cause of that homelessness and address it before they refer a person to a housing provider. So that program is truly innovative, has demonstrated outcomes, and I'm excited to see what's possible with it. And the
Yeah.
other one for seniors who are housed has been a linkages program, which we've just wound up this month, which was teaching digital literacy to seniors one-on-one with a volunteer that was either a youth or an adult. And just the thrill of being able to access their bank and to able to speak to friends and to be comfortable with technology was transformational and really exciting. So I'm happy to
Yeah.
see those two and look forward to what we can do with that.
Yeah, that's great. You've mentioned about providing housing and addressing homelessness, and that has increased, right? Which
Yes.
city has provided these housing?
So right now, the temporary housing piece, we are blessed to have in the Lower Mainland. So we have 15 units in New Westminster. We currently have expanded to 2 units in Surrey with a partner agency, and we have one more building in Langley that we're going to be able to install a couple more units, hopefully in the next month or two. Incrementally, our hope is to have them at every city, at least 4 units at every city level that can address and support seniors who are homeless, because a lot of their supports are in that community, so they can't be relocated easily without all their supports. So the idea is to be able to have a flow through of temporary housing at every city.
That's wonderful. And about digital literacy, that is very exciting because when seniors are able to call their friends, text, and access their banks and be financially, savvy as well in using their digital banking services, that's truly helpful. Is it your volunteers who help them do that?
Actually, this is a collaboration and talk about partners. So it's the City of New West Library that hosted it for us and thought it. The senior services was able to do the logistics, bring the seniors to it, take them home, provide them with tablets that they could use for the training and then keep permanently to work with. And then the city community center was able to provide the support with meals and things like that. So truly a collaborative effort between the city and senior services.
Yeah. Alison, I really see your passion towards your work and your dedication towards bringing a positive impact in the life of every senior, especially addressing the service gaps that we have for the seniors. For you, what does purpose mean today?
That's a good question. Earlier in my career, as a young individual, purpose was personal, something that I wanted to do, something that motivated me individually. Today, it feels shared. It's about creating a space for others, whether it's our staff, whether it's our clients or our partners, to also find and live their purpose. What do I mean by that? For every senior that works with us, even when they are in crisis, we encourage them to volunteer. And initially, they're a bit taken aback. You want us to do what? And it's, yes, spend 80%, no matter how difficult your life is. If you spend 80% doing something for yourself and 20% for somebody else, your life is transformed. And it's funny, in those small moments, people find purpose. And so purpose to me is alignment between what matters to you and what the world needs.
I love that. Purpose means an alignment of what is important to you and what the world needs. That's incredible, Alison. What advice would you give to someone who feels called to make a difference but hasn't yet found their path?
Uh, you know what? It's not complicated. Start where you are. Serve in small ways. Give an example again of seniors who we work with. For example, we had a senior who came to us who was in a wheelchair with one arm, and we encouraged her to volunteer. And her first reaction was, I have one arm, I'm in a chair, what do you expect me to do? And it was like, you live in a multi-story building, Can you sit at the entrance and wish everybody who walks through the door the time of day for an hour a day? And she reluctantly said yes. And a week later, she was so excited to tell us that she had met a person 2 days in a row who had then invited her for a coffee, and she'd made a friend. And 8 weeks later, she was now volunteering with the Salvation Army as a bell ringer. She found
Wow.
purpose. So that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just looking around you. What can you do? If you're a grandparent and you have a grandchild that is particularly challenged or difficult or really struggling, you be the person who reach out to them once a week or twice a week. Find a way to connect. The more difficult person is, the more they need you. So reach out. So it doesn't have to be more complicated. Like, don't wait for the perfect cause or the perfect opportunity. Just look around. There's lots of opportunity. And every small action can have a big impact. So just start small.
Finally, if you could leave our listeners with one message about the power of purpose and service, what would it be?
You got a good question there. Purpose to me is the thread that connects your values to your actions. And service is the practice of living that. So together they can create change, not just in the world, but truly for you and who you are. So I think that's the transformation.
Wow. And with that, I thank you, Alison. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your service, your purpose, and your heart.
Thanks, Sherry. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me for this inspiring chat with Alison Silgardo. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow and subscribe to Life Expressions so you won't miss more stories that inspire and empower. Until next time, keep living with purpose and sharing your light. I'm Chari Ginte-ilon. This is Life Expressions.